Captain Peter Cutsey, part 3, the last part to the Yankee NDB to runway 09, circling to runway 27. We left you in part 2 at this particular point. However, we are a little higher on this part. We're at 7,000 feet, so top of descent is a little sooner. So we are coming up to top of descent, and we have the items that we discussed before. We have basically 8 items to do. We have to make sure that the MCP is preset to our new minimum, that is the VNAV at the end of the course minimum. Our actual minimum for this approach is 4040, which is set on the MDA, and we will be leveling off at that altitude for the circling to land. So items to be accomplished, as we mentioned before, just a quick review, will be the setting the MCP. We've done that already to 2,700 feet. VNAV path, which we are in, and RMP, AMP check, and we are within the limits. The next 3 items are gear down, flaps 15, speed brakes armed, and then open the speed window and set the flap 15 speed. We won't set the missed approach altitude yet, and we'll talk about that later as we proceed. So we have 2,700 set. We are in VNAV path. We've checked the RMP, AMP. Gear down. Flap 15. Flap 15 speed. Speed brakes are. There is the nav performance scale. It's coming into view now. For the vertical path, as we see here, also on the nav display. We are starting down. We are in the nav path. And we have completed the descent procedure, approach procedures, and we've completed the applicable descent and approach checklists. Good rate of descent as we proceed to our minimum of 4040. There's top goal, and we can see it here on the map, and we are coming up to that point, and we should be at 5860 because we are working under ISA conditions with the 1013 QNH and a surface temperature of 10 degrees, which is ISA for this airport. Providing we have those specifics, then we should be at 5860 as we go by Toggle. So there we are at 5980, 5960. And we are at 5880, we are at 5860, bang on. We're high on our path, so we knew that, and we knew that what to expect. So the nav performance scale is indicating that we're high. and also the nav display is indicating that we're high, but that's all right. We are still in the safe area. Radio altimeter alive. Proper call. And we are monitoring the VSD. The rate is decreasing, and we are approaching the path on the NPS scale, and we're also approaching the path on the nav display scale. We're showing right on path on the nav display. We're showing right on path on the PFD, and we're almost on speed, and our rate is good, and we're approaching the minimum. So this recording is a bit hard to hear my voice as we're dynamic. So I've paused the recording and I'll just repeat what I've said. We were right on target as we went by Tovgo. We were exactly at 5860. And the reason why, and we told you why, and that's what we were expecting. If the temperature was super warm, we would expect that we are going to be high. And if the temperatures were super cold, we would have made an adjustment so that we crossed at a true altitude. But in today's demonstration, and we used a standard temperature of 10 degrees at the field and 1013. And that's why everything worked out according to the chart. In future videos that I'll be demonstrating at other airports in mountainous areas, we'll use super cold temperatures and we'll make corrections, that is, a higher altitudes on the FMS so that we cross the different waypoints at true altitudes. So everything worked fine, and that's what I was talking about while we were dynamic. We were talking about the nav performance scales and how we use them in accordance with the nav display, VNAV scale. Everything checked out okay, and our lateral position was good as we went by Tovgo, and we're currently coming up to our minimum of 4040. In part two, we discussed that the software that we're using with this FAA approved simulator doesn't allow radius to fix an RF arc. So we've created several waypoints, 5 to be exact, all very accurate, that will simulate the radius to fix arc. So please disregard the 5 waypoints between the turning from downwind onto the radius to fix arc. The airplane would generate that, and in effect, what we're going to see is the same as what you'd see in the airplane. somewhere between here and the turn to base, we have one more item. We have landing flap to select. So I'm going to go ahead and select the landing flap and set the ref +5. Our nav performance scale and our nav display scale indicating 269 feet short of the second phase of descent. We have two phases of descent in the circling to land. You've already seen the first phase. We're still in VNAV path, not to be confused, but the importance of using the nav display and also the NPS vertical reference. And once we intercept the path, we'll actually start down. And I want you to observe that as we continue. I'm going to pause here and mention we've started our descent. We're on a vertical path. Everything's looking fine. What I'm going to do is let us have a look outside so we can appreciate the terrain for a little while. Then I'm going to pause the sim and go into a night mode so you can better appreciate the visibility of the runway with respect to Hoppy. Simulator frozen. Now remember, I'm by myself on the flight deck. So heading bug would be moved to align ourselves with the runway track. And of course, the missed approach altitude, I recommend not to set it until you have actually picked up the VASE, or Poppy, I should say, usable, and also heading bug to align to runway track. That would be by the pilot monitoring. So remember, this is a demonstration with one person on the flight deck. Night scene.
Approaching 27.
Welcome to the future. This is what we have been doing at Lat Long Global since 1985. Very successful to the critical runways, that is mainly single runway airports worldwide. This is the kind of training, or actually sim prep training that we do here from South Korea for people around the world. Airlines, if they want this particular procedure or any circling to land, contact me, Captain Peter Cutsey, at laplongglobal.com. And I'll give you a picture of our website here shortly and show you a little bit of information. But in any case, at that particular point, we would disengage all AFDS systems and set up the missed approach altitude, which of course was flight level 100. And if we had to execute a go around, we would do the go around procedure as we briefed in part 2, applicable to the Yankee NDB to runway 09. We mentioned that before. So bear with me for one moment, and we'll bring up my website so you can have a look at this. This was my website, and a home page is my my resume, I should say, and you can have a look at that and the experience I've acquired over the last 60 years and why these approaches are so successful. We've been doing it for a long time, and you can have a look at that if you care, and many other things here with respect to circling to land. We also tailor Excel strips, that is, for your iPads and your instructors, all your programs and simulator sessions in a format that is very easy to use in the real time. These times are real time from the time the instructor powered up his or her iPad. So they can manage the operation beautifully. We do a lot of other things at Lat Long Global. And if you're interested, please call me. Thank you very much, and hope to hear from you soon.